In the military, there are going to be more unique challenges that a lot of other people are not facing, or they don't have experience. They're seeing things, they're doing things that people who don't serve in the military may not be, introduced to in the course of their lives. And so I think, I came in a long time ago, active duty. We didn't have resilient classes. We didn't have emotional intelligence classes. We didn't have any of these soft skills that would help us face these challenges. And when we can give airmen, capital A, or any military person, these tools, these skills, and I really love with emotional intelligence through Talent Smart, these strategies that can help improve their self-awareness, knowing what their triggers are, knowing what they can handle, knowing who they are, their value system, their belief system, and how that may conflict with others, because we're taking people from all over now the world and bringing them together and trying to make them this one cohesive unit. And there are going to be cultural challenges, are going to be regional challenges. There's just human challenges that come with that. And so having that self-awareness and then how to manage, how you're feeling, what you've been taught your whole life, and how that may conflict with that the military is now expecting of us, so that we are this one cohesive unit, as Kristen was saying. And so that helps with our resiliency. When we're talking about resiliency being advancing despite adversity, or how many times we fall, how many times we get back up. I mean, there's a lot of being able to bounce back. I always say bounce through, so that we've learned and grown from whatever adversity. Having the social awareness, that self-awareness, that self-management, and then that relationship where we're using those three skills, I think really helps reinforce those resiliency skills. It's not in conflict. It's actually doing a deeper dive into what we teach in just the basic resiliency training. And I think that's probably why I got so attached to it, because it was practical. It was things I could do that would help me in my job. It would help me raising my children. I always joked I didn't know what was harder, raising 2 teenage girls or being a first sergeant to 450 maintainers. And so it really helped. And I was like, I think my career and my early parenting years would have been much different had I had some of these skills and saw them in action. And so that's where I think that emotional intelligence specific really helps strengthen our resiliency. We had Air Mobility Command paid for a level 3 survey on the actual course curriculum, where they looked at the scores of the people who came through it, but they talked with supervisors. So supervisors did this thing and said, hey, how was it before the airmen came to this class? And then what about afterwards? And it was statistically significant in a positive change in attitudes and behaviors that both the members saw in themselves, but that was replicated in the supervisor's eyes as well. So the supervisors were saying that these people are coming back to the work center and they're doing better. They're engaging with people better. They're working with people better. They're a more respected member of the team. They're more cohesive. They're bringing people together. They're able to kind of diffuse when emotions are ramping up with other people in the unit. And so I think that feedback was really what helped, was that we had tangible surveys that came through that said there was a statistical difference in what we saw in our airmen before they came to EQ versus 6 months later when they got back to their offices.